Most men believe women are a complete mystery. But what if the truth is, women don't even realize their own hidden patterns? What if you could learn to spot the invisible emotional triggers that guide their choices without them ever knowing? Today, you're not just watching another video. You're stepping into a deeper level of awareness, one that will shift how you see attraction forever. Welcome back. Today, I'm about to reveal some powerful truths about women, truths that most men go through life never understanding. But once you do, everything changes. You'll start to see the subtle weaknesses women carry, not from malice, but from nature and emotion, and how you can work with them instead of against them. You're about to discover 12 hidden emotional triggers that many women aren't even consciously aware of. Yet these triggers quietly drive their behavior in relationships. If you've ever wondered why certain men seem to attract effortlessly, while others chase endlessly with no results, this is the missing piece. Let's get something clear from the beginning. Attraction isn't just about looks or money. That may spark interest, sure, but it doesn't sustain desire. The real power lies in understanding what truly captivates a woman's deeper mind. And once you understand these hidden switches, you'll stop chasing and start attracting. By the time we're done, you'll be equipped with insights that could completely change the way you navigate your relationships, your confidence, and your control. But before we dive into the list, I've got something to help you go even deeper. A free guide called The Stoic Man's Guide to Attraction. You'll find the link in the description or pinned comment. Grab it while it's still available, and let's get started. Weakness number 1. The desire to be pursued, no matter how confident or independent she may seem on the outside. Deep inside, almost every woman craves to be desired. She wants the feeling of being chosen, of having to earn a man's attention. It's in the chase that emotional attachment is built. If you make yourself too available, you remove that challenge and with it, her excitement. So what do? Create just enough space. Let her wonder. Let her reach. The more effort she puts in to gain your attention, the more invested she becomes. Weakness number 2. The fear of being replaced. Here's something most women will never admit out loud. They fear being replaced. Deep down, they want to feel like they are the one, the exception, the woman no one else compares to. How do you subtly play into this? Show her you have options. You don't need to flaunt it or be disrespectful, but let it be known that others value your presence. Just the hint that you could walk away makes her want to keep you closer. So now that she craves your presence and subtly fears being replaced, let's take things one level deeper. You see, what really fuels emotional attachment isn't just attention, it's how you give it. And this brings us to the next powerful insight. Weakness number 3. The need for validation. No matter how self-assured, successful, or independent she may appear, almost every woman has an inner need to feel seen, acknowledged, and emotionally validated. It's part of being human. We all want to feel appreciated for who we are, not just how we look. But for women, this emotional need often runs deeper than most men realize. She may carry herself like she doesn't need anyone. She might even say she's fine on her own. But underneath all of that strength is a soft spot, the desire to feel truly valued. Not because she's insecure, but because everyone longs to be recognized for their deeper qualities, not just their appearance. And this is where most men get it wrong. They overdo it. They hand out compliments like candy, hoping it will win her over. But here's the truth, when praise is too frequent or too easy, it loses all its power. It starts to feel empty, even manipulative. She might smile politely, but deep down, it won't move her. If you really want your compliments to matter, you need to be intentional. Praise should be rare, genuine, and earned. Instead of saying, "You're beautiful" for the 100th time, try something that reflects her true essence. For instance, tell her, "I admire the way you handle pressure. You always stay grounded." That hits deeper. That tells her you see her, not just what's on the surface. And even more importantly, make her work for your validation. When you don't give it so easily, she'll begin to earn it. And once she earns it, she values it more. It becomes meaningful. She'll start to pay closer attention to your reactions, your opinions. She'll be driven to impress you, not because you demanded it, but because she wants to feel that spark of recognition from you. And that's when something subtle yet powerful shifts in the dynamic. She start trying harder. She take more pride in how she shows up around you. Because now your validation means something. It's not just words, it's a reward. And the deeper that emotional investment grows, the stronger the connection becomes. Weakness number 4, the secret desire for drama. Here's something unexpected, but incredibly true. Attraction isn't always built on calm waters. In fact, many women are drawn to emotional energy, to feeling something, even if it's intense or unpredictable. Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean you need to start fights or create chaos. That's not the point. But a relationship that's too calm, too predictable, can slowly become emotionally flat. When every moment is peaceful, it can start to feel boring. And that's when interest starts to fade. But when you introduce just a bit of emotional contrast, when you add a little spark of mystery or intensity, you create a dynamic that keeps her emotionally alive. It's like a roller coaster. The highs and lows make the ride unforgettable. Think about it. When you can make her laugh and feel playful in one moment, and then quietly challenge her with a deep, thoughtful comment in the next. That shift stirs something inside her. It keeps her guessing. It keeps her feeling that kind of emotional variety. Joy, reflection, surprise makes the connection richer and more magnetic. It keeps her engaged, even when you're not around. Because now she's not just attracted to your looks or charm. She's addicted to how you make her feel when she doesn't know what's coming next. When you're a little unpredictable, it makes every interaction feel alive. And that's the kind of energy that keeps her coming back. But wait, there's another hidden dynamic that ties directly into this emotional dance. And if you overlook it, everything else might fall flat. So now you know when emotional contrast is present, it keeps her hooked. It's not about creating chaos, but about giving her something to feel. And when you combine that emotional intensity with just the right amount of mystery, something powerful begins to happen. Weakness number 5, the love for a challenge. Here's a truth that's often overlooked. Women are naturally drawn to what they can't fully have, or at least not easily. There's something deeply exciting about a man who can't be figured out right away. A man who isn't always obvious. A man who makes her curious. Think about it. When a man is too easy to understand, when everything is out in the open from the start, there's no sense of discovery. And without that sense of discovery, attraction can fizzle. But when he becomes a puzzle, just enough to spark intrigue, suddenly, she wants to know more. It's not about playing manipulative games. It's about embodying the kind of presence that keeps her mentally and emotionally engaged. A little bit of mystery, done with authenticity, creates that tension she can't resist. So how do you apply this? Don't reveal everything at once. Let her peel back the layers of your personality over time. If she asks you a question, you don't always need to answer directly. You can be honest without being fully transparent. Let your conversations leave space for wonder. When you hold back just a little, it makes her lean in. She'll replay your words in her head, trying to figure out what you meant. She'll be drawn to that depth, that slight unpredictability. And every time she learns something new about you, it'll feel like a small victory, like she's earned a piece of your trust. This approach isn't about being distant. It's about being deliberate. When you reveal yourself slowly, she feels like she's unlocking something rare. It builds value. It builds emotional investment. And remember, the more she feels like she's discovering something meaningful, the more she stays engaged. It's the hunt, the pursuit of something she doesn't quite have, that keeps her coming back for more. But there's another hidden pattern that feeds this desire even further. One that ties directly to how women test your strength. Especially when they start catching real feelings. So when you create mystery, when you hold back just enough for her to lean in, it sparks something primal. Curiosity becomes emotional investment. And that investment only deepens when she starts to see you as more than intriguing. When she sees you as someone she can rely on. Weakness number 6. The need for comfort in a man's strength. Here's something most men underestimate. Women don't just want someone fun or charming. Deep down, they want someone who makes them feel safe. Not in a boring or soft way, but in a way that reassures them, this man has it handled. That sense of safety isn't about being overly sweet, passive, or agreeable. What they're really looking for is inner strength. A man who radiates calmness, who doesn't fold under pressure, who can handle chaos without falling apart. That's what gives a woman true comfort, the kind that makes her exhale when she's with you. This kind of strength goes beyond physical power. It's mental clarity, emotional maturity, the ability to stay composed even when life throws curveballs. When she sees that you don't panic, that you make smart decisions with confidence, she feels protected, even if she never says it out loud. So how do you use this truth to your advantage? Be the rock. When she's stressed, don't waver. When things get messy, stand firm. She doesn't want to carry everything herself. She wants to know that if she falls apart, you won't, that you can hold the frame, lead with calm energy, and take charge when needed. It's not about dominating her. It's about giving her peace through your presence. When you make decisions without second-guessing, when you stay level-headed during tension, it sends a clear signal. You're safe with me. That kind of security is magnetic. Over time, this builds a bond rooted in respect. She doesn't have to wonder if you'll show up, because she knows you will. And when she trusts that, she'll lean into the relationship more deeply than ever before. Weakness number 7. The desire to be admired. Not over-persuade. No. Here's a delicate balance that many men mess up. Yes, women want to feel admired. They love being appreciated and desired. But if you chase too hard, if you smother her with constant attention, it can feel overwhelming, even desperate. There's a difference between admiration and over-pursuit. If you're always texting first, always complimenting, always making yourself overly available, she starts to lose that emotional tension. She doesn't have space to wonder about you. And when there's no curiosity, the excitement fades. The key here is subtlety. Admire her, but do it with restraint. Let her feel valued, but never feel like you're trying to win her over with effort. Because when admiration turns into pursuit, it can feel like pressure. And pressure kills attraction. So what should you do? Keep a bit of distance. Not coldness, but space. Let her miss you. Let her think about you without always being present. If she's wondering where you stand, you've already captured her attention. That mystery pulls her in far more than constant availability ever could. This space creates emotional tension, the kind that keeps her coming back. She starts to ask herself, is he really into me? And that internal question, that's what keeps the spark alive. And just when she thinks she's figured you out, that's when we introduce the next hidden weakness, a pattern of behavior that reveals more about female attraction than most men ever realize. Earlier, we talked about the importance of giving her space to wonder, space to feel admired without being overwhelmed. Now let's take that intrigue even further, because there's a deeper layer to attraction that taps into something primal: weakness. #8. The attraction to risk and rebellion. Believe it or not, many women are subconsciously drawn to men who carry a subtle edge of rebellion. Not the reckless kind that spirals out of control, but the kind that hints at danger, freedom, and unpredictability. It's that thrill of stepping outside the box, of breaking from routine. It wakes something up in her. You see, most of life is predictable. Safe routines, polite conversations, expected behaviors. So when a man breaks that pattern, even slightly, it sends a powerful signal. This man is different. That difference sparks curiosity. It creates emotional contrast. Suddenly, the world feels more alive around him. Now this doesn't mean acting out just to stir chaos. It means being bold enough to challenge the norm. If she's expecting you to agree with everything she says, throw in a gentle disagreement, not to argue, but to offer a fresh angle. If she thinks she's got you figured out, surprise her with something unexpected. A bold move, an offbeat idea, a spontaneous decision. This keeps her guessing. And that keeps her emotionally engaged. Because when she realizes you're not like every other man, when she senses that you play by your own rules, it triggers fascination. She starts to lean in. She wants to understand how you think, why you act the way you do, and where your confidence comes from. A man who breaks routine in a thoughtful way, who's not afraid to go against the grain, is often remembered long after the conversation ends. So don't be afraid to show that edge. You don't need to be reckless, just real. Let her see that you're not trying to fit into every mold or follow every rule. That little streak of rebellion, that's what makes her feel like she's stepping into uncharted territory with you. Weakness. #9. The hunger for mystery. Now we move into a closely related dynamic, one that builds even more tension and interest. Women by nature are drawn to mystery. When a man is too available, too obvious, too open about everything from the start, it removes the thrill. And without that sense of mystery, the spark can fade fast. A man with layers, someone who reveals himself slowly, feels infinitely more magnetic. She doesn't want to know everything at once. She wants to discover it. So how do you use this to your advantage? Start by holding back just a little. You don't need to be cold or secretive, but don't rush to lay your whole life story out. Either let her earn pieces of your world. When you talk about your past, leave room for her to ask questions. Share glimpses of your passions, but don't explain every detail right away. This gives her a reason to stay curious. And the more curious she is, the more invested she becomes. For example, you might mention that you love photography, but leave out how you got into it. Or share that you traveled somewhere unforgettable, but hold back the full story. She wants to know more, and in that wanting, she becomes more connected. Mystery doesn't mean playing games. It means knowing the value of pacing. Let her unwrap you slowly, one layer at a time. Because when she feels like there's always more to you, she won't lose interest. She stay hooked wondering what she'll uncover next. And when mystery is paired with emotional energy, that's when attraction becomes unforgettable. But there's still another piece of this puzzle, a hidden emotional reflex that many women act on without even realizing it. And if you don't recognize it when it shows up, it could throw off everything you've built so far. So as we've seen, mystery keeps her emotionally engaged, but it's not the only thing. There's a deeper current beneath the surface, the desire to feel truly valued. And that brings us to something even more foundational than charm or attention. Weakness number 10, the need for respect over affection. Many men assume that affection is what women crave most: hugs, compliments, sweet words. And while those things matter, there's something far more powerful that often goes unnoticed: respect. Respect runs deeper than affection. It's not about just making her feel good. It's about showing her that her voice, her thoughts, and her essence truly matter to you. A woman wants to feel that she's more than just a pretty face or someone who fills space in your life. She wants to be seen, not just for how she looks, but for how she thinks, how she reasons, what she believes in. So how do you tap into this need? Start by listening. Not the kind of listening where you're just waiting for your turn to speak, but actual, intentional presence. When she shares her thoughts, her opinions, her experiences, lean in. Ask questions. Show that you care about what she thinks, not just how she makes you feel. It's not about agreeing with everything she says. In fact, respectful disagreement can be healthy. It shows you take her seriously. The key is in how you respond. You validate her ability to think for herself. You acknowledge her perspective, even when you see things differently. And yes, while it's fine to tell her she looks beautiful, don't stop there. Show her you respect her mind. Ask her about her goals. Be curious about her values, her journey, her inner world. When a woman feels respected, not just admired, she begins to open up in a deeper way. She feels emotionally safe. She begins to trust that she's not just being pursued for shallow reasons. And that kind of respect, it creates the foundation for something far more lasting than affection alone ever could. Weakness number 11, the desire to feel needed. Here's another emotional trigger that's often misunderstood. A woman doesn't just want to feel liked or loved, she wants to feel needed. Not in a clingy or dependent way, but in a way that affirms her importance in your life. She wants to know she matters. That she's not just one of many, but that she has a place, a role only she can fill. When a woman feels taken for granted, or like she could vanish without much difference, the emotional connection begins to weaken. But when she feels essential, like her presence brings something real to your world, she becomes far more emotionally invested. So how do you do this right? Let her know her presence makes a difference. Maybe you value her insight. Maybe she brings calm into your chaos. Maybe she inspires you to be better. But don't frame it in a way that makes her feel like you're helpless without her. That crosses into emotional dependence, and it's unattractive. You want to show appreciation, not desperation. A good example: thank her sincerely for something she brings into your life, whether it's emotional support, thoughtful ideas, or the way she pushes you to grow. Let her see that she enhances your life, but you're still standing strong on your own. When she feels like her role matters, when she sees that she's uniquely valued, her emotional connection to you deepens. She becomes invested not just in the relationship, but in you. And that brings us to one final hidden truth. A pattern so subtle that most men miss it entirely, yet once you see it, you'll understand why women test the men they care most about. Earlier, we explored how making a woman feel needed, not in desperation, but in meaningful ways, deepens her emotional investment. Now let's finish with one final truth that ties everything together. Unpredictability, weakness. #12. The power of being unpredictable. If there's one surefire way to kill attraction, it's predictability. When every word, every gesture, and every moment becomes routine, the spark fades. It's not because she's ungrateful, it's because human desire craves stimulation. And stimulation requires surprise. Women are naturally drawn to men who keep them guessing. The ones who bring a sense of what's next into every interaction. Unpredictability isn't about playing games, it's about staying dynamic. It's about showing her that being with you will never feel dull or mechanical. So how do you do that? Sometimes, show her warmth. Be attentive, make her laugh. Be emotionally present. But other times, step back. Be a little quiet. Take space. Let her wonder what you're thinking, what you're up to. That emotional push and pull creates tension, and tension is the fuel of attraction. If she feels like she knows your every move, the mystery fades. But when she senses that you're always slightly out of reach, always evolving, always full of new layers, she becomes captivated. That curiosity keeps her emotionally engaged. Don't always respond right away. Don't always say yes. Don't always show up the same way. Be the man who brings unexpected insight into a conversation. Be the one who can go from playful to profound in a single moment. That emotional variety makes her feel. And those feelings are what keep her coming back, not to solve a puzzle, but to stay close to the energy that makes her feel alive. So remember, predictability breeds comfort, but unpredictability fuels passion. When you create that balance, where she never quite knows what you'll say next, but always feels safe and respected in your presence, you become unforgettable. She doesn't just like you. She feels pulled toward you. And now that you know these 12 hidden emotional triggers, the next step is simple. Don't use them as manipulation. Use them as awareness. Understand women, not to control them, but to connect with them on a deeper level. These patterns reveal how the feminine mind responds to strength, presence, mystery, and respect. When you master these dynamics, attraction won't be something you chase. It'll be something you attract naturally, powerfully, and consistently. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button, leave a comment below, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, a high-value man doesn't chase, he attracts. I'll see you in the next one.